interesting and impressive issue. We're looking basically on an issue that has to bear on security and the challenges of insecurity in our country, Nigeria. A couple of days back, precisely 10 days ago, the Chief of Defense Staff was taking off his position alongside other service chiefs as a result of a suspected coup d'etat. But till date, the government has not come out to tell us what was the major issue related to that coup d'etat. If the Chief of Defense, then Chief of Defense Staff and service chiefs were indicted or part of that scandal. Subsequently afterwards, the Minister of Defense, Abubakar Badaru, resigned his position on held grounds, on speculative held grounds, that is taken away, be excused from the State National Executive Council, the Federal Executive Council basically. He cited urgent need for medical attention and of course to not create a vacuum. That is why I had to put in the letter to Mr. President. Moving forward, the then Chief of Defense Staff, Major General Christopher Musa, was now reinstated as the Minister of Defense. A lot of questions were being asked. Why was he sacked? Was it the only lone ranger among the service chiefs that was now indicted during the so-called phantom coup d'etat? Was there actually a coup? I must let us know that General Christopher Musa has led a lot of regimental teams and military formations against the insurgents in the northeast. His pedigree cannot be ruled out as a man with vast experience in that region and in counter-insurgency. Is it possible that he's coming back as a result of what he has done within the Nigerian army? Is he the most qualified, most experienced man for that position? A lot of questions to be asked, a lot of questions being asked, a lot of answers being desired, both by Nigerians and by the international community. To do justice to that, I have two great gentlemen with me in the studio. I have to my far left a veteran of international politics and public affairs analysis, Comrade Lawrence Ukpewo. You're welcome to the program.
Thank you.
And of course, a very eloquent senior citizen, also versatile international politics and political analysis, Comrade Sonny Ogbedo. You're welcome to the program, sir.
Thanks for having me.
Yes, let me start with you, Lawrence Ukpewo. What is your summation from the narrative of a certain Chief of Defense Staff losing his job as the Chief of Defense Staff alongside the other service chief and comes back as the Minister of Defense with the I wouldn't call it a forced resignation, speculative resignation of the Minister of Defense, and now he's back. What are the challenges of this dispensation?
Well, first of all, General Christopher Musa, retired, was a career military officer. So he retired because in the military there's an example I gave just now. If you were employed together alongside your colleagues and you were all getting your promotion and one of you is now made to head that,
One of your juniors.
yes, to now head, your colleagues will have to go so that they will bring junior ones up for them to get your respect. That's what happens in the military. That's why you see that once the service chiefs are removed, you will hear that they belong to this squad, they belong to this group, this class and this class, and so that was what happened to General Musa. I don't think it has anything to do with any rumor of or whether there was a phantom coup, as we said. I don't think it has anything to do with that. But for Badaru, Abubakar Badaru was former governor of Jigawa State. He was among the northern governors then who insisted that power to shift to south. You get it. Himself, Matawale, Nasi El-Rufai, and some other ones, they were the one who insisted that power should shift to the south, having had Muhammadu Buhari for 8 years, that it was only proper for the south to also benefit, they can go back to them. So it was like a, let's appreciate this who made this sacrifice for us. You get it? So that was how he became Minister of Defense. But unfortunately, events that followed proved that he was not too acquainted with what that office entails. Some of the utterances that came from him especially after the President Trump started looking at Nigeria in the name of those who have been allegedly killed on religious basis and all the rest, by bandits and all the rest. He was among those who went to America, led by Nuhu Ribadu. You know, he was among those who went there. And when he came back, when they asked him some questions, he said that why the Nigerian army couldn't, Nigerian Air Force, under his supervision, couldn't bomb the bandit in the bush. Because bomb cannot penetrate the forest, and things like that. And of course, under his watch, there was this coup rumor that came up and some officers were arrested. Under his watch, the killing of Brigadier Umar, who was killed by the bandit, and some other issues that happened. And it's like he couldn't come up, as the head of that team to really make a statement that will instill confidence among the. So the best thing for him to do was to resign and use the alibi.
Did he resign or
yes.
was coerced to resign?
Listen, okay. I don't give you
an example.
We are in a society where if you are to be in some society, as soon as that brigadier general was killed, you would have honored it. Yes. You get it. Yeah. As soon as he made that blunder, that they couldn't penetrate, cannot shoot bomb because he would have resigned. You get it. But we are in a society where people will start telling you, is he the first to make that mistake? Is it because he's from the north? Is it because from the south? Or things like that. But when it became too obvious, and one wouldn't know the reaction that came from America when he went to that area, to America. So the best thing now for him to do is maybe the president would just call as commander-in-chief and tell him, look, this is the position of there are a lot of interest. I'm no more interested in you. So the best thing is to ease you out. And he didn't want a situation where they would now come and say that the Minister of Defense have been sacked. You get it? Have been sacked. So it was not stated that the Minister of Defense has resigned on health grounds. So it's not left for you to be a doctor to find out whether it was his healthy or not. And since that incident happened, battle has gone low underground. Yes. You get it? And within that same period too, Mr. President invited General Christopher Musa retired to see him. And he went there, and as soon as he went to Aso Rock, the speculation came that he may be the likely replacement. Remember also, some people suggested about, what was that his name? Retired Lieutenant General, who was one time chief of Army Staff, I think, was he under Buhari or something, that he should be the Minister of Defense. But this man is more current. He is immediate past Chief of Defense Staff. He had led a lot of war zone within Lafia Adole, name all of them. He has led all of them. And he still has age on his side. I think it's about 57 years, 58 years old. So it's only proper for him to be invited. And secondly, there was also this story that the two ministers of defense before now were Muslims. Matawale Muslim, Badar Muslim. So they now tried to bring a Christian to balance the something because to allay the fear of this genocide story. Okay. So he was now brought in to be the minister of and you saw the way they quickly cleared, and you saw the 4 hours he stayed, answering questions and everything.
Quite an interesting one, of course. I think we're looking at a hopeful situation. Let's come to you, Gbedo. We're looking critically at the security architecture of this country. What has been the bane of successive ministers of defense, chiefs of army staff, or heads of service chiefs? What has been their undoing in the lack of commitments, would you say, that has made them being unable to nip insecurity in the board, and of course looking at the growing situation of insecurity in Nigeria? What has been their vulnerability?
Well, if you look at the security system, let me start by, please, first of all, congratulate the president for this appointment.
Okay, why?
This is the first appointment that he has made that even the blind man can feel the appointment. When somebody does wrong, you say it. First and foremost, this is the 16th defense minister we're having since the dispensation. And I'm only 16, he's the 7th seasoned military officer. And why is only his best is that, like my colleague said, he's current. He has been part of this system. And if you check his pedigree, he has served Nigeria for 39 years before he retired. So that the retirement has nothing to do with anything, but it's after 39 years. Instead of 35, he added extra 4 years. And as he's going, both all his mates went with him. Now, looking at the appointment, the problem we're having before is that a lot of people who are drafted into the defense ministry don't know little or nothing about defense. They don't know the caliber of bullets, caliber of guns. They cannot even assess military situations. What system do we use? How do we draft our security men? How do we draft our underground cover? They don't know. So when other chief of ministers are talking about operations, he found out that the Minister of Defense will be sitting down. He does not know what to do. For having a defense minister that can sit down on his own, draft operational strategy, and then they will all look at it. Not when they will draft, so go and draft, you know what to do. No. This one knows what to do. So as at now, the military will not have any excuse to tell us. But whatever said the situation in Boko Haram, they will know the type of weapon that the military should use. They know the type of tactics they should use. They know the type of personnel to be posted. But all this while, you ask yourself one question. The Tucano aircraft, the jets they brought, how are they using them? With all these grouping, they show picture where they are doing marriages and naming ceremonies in the bush. Where are our Air Force? But it's called that now. Military is now having the minister as a seasoned military man. All the defense staff seasoned military man. So nobody has anything to tell anybody. They know the right equipment to buy, where to buy it, how to get it, and bring it in.
Wow.
As at 20.
That's your mommy.
All we need now that it's now time for them to go into drawing board and deliver a peaceful nation to us. So I think this appointment is applauded by a lot of people.
Yes. Talking about Ploshon, that's a great one there. If you're just joining us, we're on the faculty at Delta Broadcasting Service Public Affairs Program and Delta Broadcasting Service Television. We're discussing the issue of the new nomination of this Chief of Defense Staff and the appointment of General Christopher Musa as the new man in the helm of affairs. But then, let's look at the challenges. This same narrative has always been spoken about by past service chiefs and ministers of defense. When they go to the National Assembly or when they come to the House of, Abuja, Asurok, to come and collect their letters of appointment or what have you, they've always said, we will nip insecurity in the bud. We are going to crush these insurgents. I will make sure I do this and I do that. But in the long run, I don't want to name names. Service chiefs have come and gone with the same narrative. Insecurity has spread. Now, what do you think has been the most limiting factor or factors, as the case may be, that has kept us to being unable to tackle insecurity?
Well, the present security challenge we have in the country today is quite different from the conventional war of 1967-70.
Okay.
Because the conventional war that we fought 1967 to 70, you know the enemy, so to speak. You know the leader of the other side. You get it. Down here, you know that General Yakubu Gowon is the leader of this side. Over there, you know it's General Rumegu Ojukwu there. You get it. You knew those who were supporting the other side. Because during the Civil War, where we were then, when you hear the gun sounding kapu, 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 you know it's Biafra. Because that's Russia. They were using Russia Kalashnikov. And when you hear the other side, you know it's British. You know, so you could differentiate. You get it. Then also, when you see the uniform of those from Biafra, you can easily know that this is the uniform of the Biafra because of the rising sun that was there. And if you see it, but the present day situation, you are fighting a war that is based on ideology. Some people have been so indoctrinated into believing that once they kill, they are going to wherever. Then some of them have been infiltrated. There is a lot of infiltration. Remember, Goodluck Jonathan, as president, said that Boko Haram had infiltrated his government there, that we even be dining with them. You get it? Just last week, a medical doctor was arrested carrying drugs to the bandit. The other day, I think it was a colonel who was arrested with weapons he was going to sell. You get it? And these are the same people who will now be on the side of the people fighting. Then you also discover that these people are fighting more of a guerrilla war inside the bush. They are fighting more of a guerrilla war inside the bush. And most of these people they kidnap, they use them as human shield. Yeah. They use them as human shield. And if you recall, when General Buhari was president, when they brought this Tucano jet, for them to use the Tucano jet, they said that you must classify them as terrorists. Yes. Without being classified as terrorists, you cannot use that jet. And so they now classify them as terrorists and not bandits. You get it? So as soon as they were classified, they started using the Tucano jet. And it got to a point that the bombardment was so much that the tempo now reduced. And so what they were then now doing, when they kidnap soft target, they now use them as human shield. And remember, there was one bombing that the Air Force did. Yes. There one bombing that the Air Force did because of these people who they use as human shield. The story that came was that innocent people were bombed. You get it? So that's why this war is different from the conventional war, like I said. And for Musa now, Musa is there as a minister. A minister is a messenger to the president. You get it? So the question is, well, good enough, the present situation now, Mr. President has woken up, if he was sleeping before. I always say that God will bless Donald Trump, because Donald Trump woke us from our slumber. You get it? Now that he's not there, if he talks to Mr. President now, Mr. President will understand better, especially with what is happening around us. You saw what happened in the Republic of Benin 2 days ago. You get it, which means that every person is not scared if things are not done properly. You get it. So I believe that Musa will get the cooperation of Mr. President. He will get the cooperation of the fellow service chiefs. Wow. Because he's their superior. So to speak.
Is it that they've not been getting the former service chiefs?
No, look, we made a statement just now. Yes. You saw Badaru was there.
Yes.
You get it? Badaru, like my brother said, he has no idea of military.
He doesn't.
You get it? He has no idea of. It's like you make a medical doctor commissioner for justice.
Or commissioner for.
You get it? Yes. So when you see people appoint people, a medical doctor is put in the Ministry of Health. A lawyer is put in the Ministry of because these are professionals. You get it? So as he's there now, when he brings suggestion, he's talking from the point of knowledge and information and experience. But the challenge he's going to have is the people who are going to be the enforcer of the law. Remember, this was a country where people who were alleged, or not just alleged, who were active known Boko Haram people, who came out to say, we have surrendered our weapon, we are no more, we are not changed people. Now, they submitted whatever weapon they choose to submit, they were rehabilitated, and they were sent back. So those people are not informants.
That's, in fact, that's leading us into my next question. I'm looking at the strategy of international security management. We've had issues of narrative coming both local and internationally that some high-placed Nigerians, wealthy and equally politically powerful, are sponsors of Boko Haram. We do not know who the sponsors are. You're fighting a guerrilla warfare being funded and sponsored by people that have money you don't know. The government is limiting to mention names. Now, what do we think? What do you think, should be a most appropriate approach considering the complexity of our own kind of guerrilla war? Because the military seems to be losing this war. And humans have become...
They're not losing the war. With the new appointment, we know that there's hope. Now let me tell you what he said. We are fighting on conventional war. conventional war, we approach it differently. Differently in the sense that if you look at Nigeria for now, there are people benefiting from the system we found ourselves.
Seriously.
So first and foremost, even the CBN, the commercial banks, must be purged. So we're sure when you're transferring money, we know where the money is going to. There are pictures that filter where people are counting money from the push and that tied or stamp or CBN. Where did they get him? Who transferred this cash to them? From what source? They will now have to check the cashless we are running. Is it really functional? That is one. Then two, we are going to win the war if only you also review the welfare of those carrying the gun. If you are not well fed and you carry AK-47, when you fire, you fall. Because your strength can't carry it. And again, when you are well funded, when your welfare is well taken care of, trust can also build trust. By the time you give me a beautiful salary, why must I go and sell bullets to people that will use it on me? But if my wife is 8 months pregnant, I don't have one kobo in my account, and I can send 10 bullets at 50,000. Then they will get money to pay my wife's hospital bill. I will be tempted to sell. I can even go and fall inside and say I've been dead with back and sell my life. So the people carrying this cause fighting must be well taken care of. One. Two, I remember I was listening to General Musa's address to National Assembly. Security is not a place where you slash their fund. If they go to the drawing board and tell you we want to purchase so and so, and we need so and so, give it to them. Don't slash the fund men for the military. Fund men for the security agent. Don't slash it. Don't release their fund by bits. If their budget for the year is 200,000, release it once. Don't release it in quarterly. It is not that fund shouldn't be released quarterly. Even their salary, don't give it to them, and you have nothing to do with the military. So they will not come back to you and say, we don't have money, we don't have battery in our touchline, we don't have that. No. Secondly, the war we are fighting now is no longer a war where, like my brother said, conventional, you know your enemy, you know where their lineup is and so on. The man sitting by your side in the car might be your enemy. So you must detect some of your enemies with gadgets. So when I go enter some office, they say, drop your phone. I'll just be laughing. But the glasses I'm putting on can video you. My pen can video you. So whatever I'm putting on, even the ring in the hand can dictate that there's bullets by my side. So government should have to make sure that they fund these people. They have to not give them trackers. Every team should have not less than 2-3 trackers to track where they. I remember when we were in the UN. If you are going to some certain journey, the first of all program, we Google it we Google it and find out what is the kilometer to that place. And the terrain. They know that where you are going to is 2 kilometers, okay. Your vehicle is 2 tanks. You must fill the 2 tanks and have extra 50 liters of fuel. You understand what I'm saying? Yeah. But now, somewhere like Badaro, now you tell him we are going to some place 3 kilometers, we need 2 tanks. He says just manage 1 tank. And by the time you get the Buzo, no fuel in your car, and then you are stranded.
So let's look at the very fundamental issue, the role of citizens. There have been insinuations that traditional institutions have had complicities in some of these kidnappings and insurgents encroaching into hitherto restricted areas like Niger State, Kwara State, even Delta, Edo State, you name it. They are no more restricted to the Northeast region. There have been incidences of collusion with not just traditional rulers anymore, but then citizens of these towns that have been compromised. What is the role of the citizen to security management?
Well, security is not meant for those in authority alone. If you see something, say something. But the problem there is the person you are saying something to, what level of confidence you have in that person. brother said, you could be sitting by the enemy and you don't know. So you may be telling the person, like what happened in the Gideon Okapu. What's this guy's name? Bello, UK Bello. UK Bello was telling Oche, who was seated with him, that the land is a coup in the making. Oche told him nothing like that. Because we were close and we were playing draft. He did not know that Oche was a member of the coup. You get it? He didn't know. Then Lieutenant Okekumatalo, Lieutenant Chendu, was the person who demobilized the firing pin of the armored personnel carrier, and is there. Is in that sort of there, and it was Bello who now, UK Bello who now said, okay, let me resist these people, but firing. But when he clamped it, he saw that the firing pin has been removed and somebody else fired. That is because he was discussed with somebody whom he did not know was the enemy. So information is very, very important. But who are you giving information to? That is one. Then two, you said something about the sponsors of this problem. We've heard many people say certain things and things like that. But can you apprehend them? Knowing the kind of society we are in today. The very much you place arrest on someone like Gumi, for instance, or even the other ones who said if you attack them, you are attacking us. If they are our brothers who are protecting our foreign. Even Dati Ahmed, who was supposed to be the vice president if Peter B had won. Look at the statement he is making. You get it? Yeah. So by the time you pick such a person up now, what would they say? APC is fighting Labour Party man. Exactly. And all of us social media will start writing, even when we don't know where we are coming from. We start writing. So, and you have some of these people who are alleged to be sponsored, who are also sponsors of political parties and candidates. You get it? Commodore Labode John calls them the garrison commanders. Say they are the garrison commanders in the political, they are the principal shareholders, the leaders.
Yeah, political space.
Yes, the leaders who will say Meshach is the candidate of the party. Leaders have said so.
That is all.
You get it. So when you are now in a position, how do you now pick such a person?
What about our traditional rulers? Some say this subscribe.
The traditional ruler too. You should also know that most of the traditional rulers up north, they are compatible religious leadership and traditional position. So when you pick a traditional ruler, for instance, you are automatically picking the religious leader, and the way the Pope will react will be different. And so it's not a matter of your conscience.
Do we have conscience in Nigeria?
It's not a matter of your conscience. Some of the religious leaders, their utterances is not, it's not helping matters. So for us to succeed in this war, all of us must see Nigeria first of all as our country. Two, we must see ourselves as brothers and sisters. Three, we must know that there's a common enemy. Because when the bandit comes, they don't ask you, are you a Muslim or you're a Christian? Are you from the south? Or you get it? Every person is a victim.
Now let's look at funding. A lot of issues have arisen, especially on social media. And we've seen helicopters trying to drop arms. We've seen cars have been intercepted, entering into Nigeria through the border. In fact, I've already entered into Nigeria through the borders. Now, border management and funding of these insurgents, because they seem to be very comfortable. What do you think should be done about funding and equipping of these insurgents? Well, then another question I want to ask, the issue of fifth column, that question before you. Let's talk about funding. I'll come to you on fifth column in the system.
You see, once you pay ransom to a bandit or a terrorist, you have strengthened him. In Israel said, let us discuss with them. No criminal is repentant at all. The criminal will be repentant because he has gotten the money now. You want to enjoy for some time. Once the money finishes, you go back to drawing. That is his source of revenue. So when they are giving them this money, they use it to bring more arms. Even bring in more people and say, the money in this country. They tried this in other smaller countries, but they didn't get what they got in Nigeria in the name of ransom. And they use it to equip themselves so much now that we're having problem. And then one problem we're having is that unless now that General Musa has taken over, the military cannot shy away that before now, we lack the equipment to face this. You can't give me AK-47 to face a man with submachine gun or with a rocket launcher. A rocket launcher can go 1 kilometer, but AK-47 cannot go 1 kilometer. And they have not been equipping our people, no food, nothing. You see our people in the bush trying to set fire, no ration given to them. How do you want them to perform? So what the government should do now, first of all, is ensure that you block all our venues that money is getting to this people. Ensure that all our fighter jets are in order. Then get equipment.
Let me pick you on this too for the benefit of our listeners. Block all loopholes that
money is going out
from. Have we been able to handle that? I mean, even without the insurgents, that has been one of the most difficult issues.
That is where the transparency of the CBN comes in.
Okay, because
now you and I want to collect 100,000 naira from the bank, they snap us pictures. But we are hearing that people are looting 2 billion, 4 billion. Where's the money passing through? And who is releasing
electronic transfer?
Yes. People are electronic transfer.
That's what I'm saying.
If one Nigeria want to transfer, they're not thinking I cannot transfer more than 500,000 in a day or 200. Why are they getting billions to transfer? That is one. Secondly, Nigeria is the only country where our ATM system don't pay 100 naira, don't pay 200 naira. Only 500 and 1,000, increasing inflation in this country. Nigeria is the only country where we don't eat coins. Who rejected our coins? What happened to our lower currencies? Nigeria is the only place where you go to the bank to look for new currency, take new currency, but in a party that's selling new currency on the street, and there is law against this in this country.
And nobody's doing
and somebody has been arrested and was detained and embarrassed for spraying money in the public, and then CBN cash, brand new, is being sold on the street. What's wrong with the bank managers? What has government done about it? Then the internet banking like OPay and so on, how are they regulating it? Who are behind this?
So, in summary, we're saying that the banking system is part of the problem.
Part of our problem. They have to now regulate it now. Okay. So that money can't get to the hands of these insurgents. Okay. Then, two, our mineral resources they are exchanging with guns. Government should also go into it and ensure that no piece of gold or diamond goes out without government knowing. Even if you get it in your farm, sell to government. But the issue where somebody will come from nowhere, from Brazil and so on, and then put our boys under the ground, and then be paying them peanut, and then be bringing flight in the bush.
All right. It's quite an obsession. Yeah, Nigerians want security, but they're not getting security, but insecurity. Let me come to you. We're looking at the role of fifth columnists within the security architecture. The issue of the Sokoto bombing or Sokoto kidnapping of schools, children, and teachers, and there was a certain narrative insinuating that the military withdrew their men from there, and 30 minutes later, that happened. The issue of the late Brigadier Umar, who was killed with an ambush, and how the Nigerian military could not act on his radio message on time, but probably intercepted by the insurgents who traced him to his hiding. That's another. We have seen so many ambushes carried out by these insurgents, and in men with intellectual capacity who can affirm that that is an inside job. There was a giveaway somewhere. So what the role of fifth columnists within all this, how can it be nipped in the bud?
Well, I made mention of the fact just now that security is every person's business. Yeah. You get it. And there is no place you won't have a fifth columnist. But the question is, whoever is apprehended, has that person been used as an example? The one of Kebbi, they said somebody asked the people there to move out.
30 minutes later.
Then in the case of Chibok, similar thing happened. And look at, like what Musa said when he appeared on this. He said that any military officer, and I hope he will review the case of that young man, who was in the war front, they were in the bush. And as they were going, he said they were running out of bullets. But as they were going, these people were pursuing them. And the commander told them, don't shoot. You get it?
Yes.
But he saw these people coming closer to them and everything. So he turned back and shot and killed 2 of those people, and that will now push them back, only for the guy to be arrested. That why should he disobey? But Musa told us during the screening that so long as you have been given a gun, you have been given an assignment, you don't wait for any order, especially when an enemy is coming. So that is one. So that commander, you hear the other man too, who said that because of what he did, he was retired. So there are so many like that. And that is because there are people who are benefiting
from the system.
From the system.
Security, yeah.
Now, like my brother said, Musa said something that the army or the security should be on first line charge. Should be on first line charge. So that somebody will not give them, you apply for 200 million, they are giving you whole 50 first. Yeah. Are you going to use that 50 as a deposit when you want to collect weapons or whatever? You can give them their money, then later you oversight function to know whether they use the money for what, for the purpose, but not for you to ration the money. So for those people who are the fifth columnists, when anyone is apprehended, it should be used as a scapegoat. Until that is done, you are going to have, let me remind you of what happened in Bende those days. When Anini was operating, Anini Osubo Figure and his group, whenever they hold a meeting, Yamu, DSP Yamu, who was the leader of the squad, was the person giving information to them. You get it? But when the late Paris Sainde came to Bende, and he knew that the first thing he did was to carry Yamu to Awuchi, carry Inspector Irowa to somewhere else, carry Sainde to Juku to somewhere else. And within a short while, they arrested Ofegi.
Yeah.
They arrested
because information had been cut off.
Yes, they arrested Iwe Belua. You get it, what they call Smalley. They arrested Oseweka. And as soon as they arrested Osumbo, and as they were picking them, as they were picking them from the first places, they were all calling Iyamu. They were all calling Iyamu's name. Now, after they had been apprehended and they were all saying the same thing about Iyamu, they invited Iyamu from Awuchi straight to detention. And that was how he was apprehended. You get it? So until that fifth column, whoever it is, whether it's
do we have a judiciary? We've been talking about the insecurity. Do we have a judiciary that can truly interpret these laws in line with international best practice?
The first question you ask yourself is, what report is the police sending to judiciary?
Is the police? I mean, a lot of questions.
Because the army will not write a
report.
It is the police
that the Alimodu Sheriff came and said, Boko Haram didn't start in his time. It was the time of Shetima. Shetima said no, it was Alimodu Sheriff.
Yes.
They accused Shetima and brought out a picture where he was eating and whining with some of the bandits. And he said no, they are brothers and so on. The question is, what is Shetima still doing in government?
It's strange.
We sought allegation and with the pictures of where you are eating with this reference, he's supposed to resign and give room. Matawali, who is Minister of State for Defense, have been indicted. What is he still doing in government? With just indictment, Matawali should resign. I'm Minister of State. Because there's no meeting you are going to hold with him now that you are sure that the secret totality meeting cannot be leaked out. Matawali should be removed. If they want Musa to perform, Matawali should leave that office within the next 1 week. So that we have what we call transparency in fighting these insurgents. That is one area we have to follow strictly. Anybody that has been indicted should leave the seat of government.
You're talking alone of the executive. Even in the National Assembly, we have them. It's quite an unfortunate situation.
They should leave. I love what Akpabio did that day when they were interviewing Musa. I said, not take a bow and go. We know it was the CDS, but let's come and tell Nigeria to have about this security. Let him give us hope. So they allowed the man to. And when they were talking, he said, there must be funding. There must be welfare packages. A soldier is shot on the leg. His leg is cut off. What are you paying him as a compensation? A soldier is bedridden because of injuries from the war front. What are you paying him? Most police women are in the barracks that their husband died in active service through the hands of armed bandits. What are you giving to those families? The children, they are there, poverty. You go to some of our military establishment. I went to police headquarters the other day, and within the space of 1 hour, light went off about 6 times. And commissioner of police was sending them to buy this to put the generator. A place like that should be 24 hours light because of the security gadgets.
Yes.
The moment you take light and bring it and take it and bring it, you get it burnt. Apart from destroying those equipment, how can they, if there's an emergency, how will they relate it? You are a security agent, commissioner of police in the office, his phone no more light, there's no battery in his phone, then he cannot communicate it from outside. In the control room, no light. How do you run the radios? Go to a military barracks, no light. It's unheard of.
What is the mode, from your own perspective? You are a security, or you were a security operative, and you come with a lot of experience, having seen like 2-3 generations of Nigerian leadership. And I make bold to say that you have so much to tell Nigerians. What do you think would have been done rightly moving forward to nip insecurity in the bud?
First thing, the government should intensify the fight against hard drugs. Okay. Most of these youths cannot cock their rifle on you if they are not on hard drugs. Then 2, the welfare of citizens. The rate of poverty in the north is alarming. And when some of these honorable members collect money for constructive projects, they don't use it. Because if I don't have anything doing and I am hungry, you can recruit me into illicit business with 50,000 a month. And I'll think you're giving me the whole war. But if I'm end up to 250,000, 150,000 a month and my salary, you can't learn with even 120,000. The youths being recruited into insurgency are so many, are so rampant because they are giving them money which they have never seen in their life. Nobody can come and tell them and say, come and be in our own group. We'll be giving you 200,000 with your education, what you are earning, and your pension you are basing at. You can't do that.
Not at all.
But you see, used to roaming. All the people you see here in our south carrying Comcom and so on. It is suffering upon them down south. A society that is working well, you cannot see massive movement of people in search of what to eat. So when you see this, people say, why are you suffering to go to North to go and start carrying popcorn and so on? Why not just come and we'll give you 150, 500,000 and give your family? And he sees the bunch of money.
Wow. And that is equally what is happening to the kidnappers.
He will go outside.
That's equally making kidnapping.
Then the problem with our traditional rulers again is that we have to rent out that number. Mind who you sell land to. Most of them will have insurgents, they will come and buy land from you and say, I want to go and do small agriculture, you sell land. From there, they start bringing the people, and then they put them arm. Tomorrow they say, we are going to install our emir from here, remove and so on. That's what the problem the traditional rulers are having. And I know the local government is taking care of traditional rulers, the state government is taking care of traditional rulers, federal government is taking. Why are they selling community land to people? Not even leasing, they sell. And don't see Fulani, once they buy land from you, they will fight you because they feel they have paid you. It's now their birthright.
And before now, they actually believe that every land belongs to them. They feel they own
And
Nigeria.
you discover that if you go to the north, you go to the west, or go to the east, an ordinary Nigerian man will travel, go there, look for a house, pay and enter. The people will come and go and group in one particular place.
They don't care.
And then they come in the night with cow and they put guns under and then they are there. I remember what happened in Abraka one time here, Abraka, near the P division, where they raided the Hausa market there. And they covered a lot of guns there.
I remember vividly.
And they had to move them from there to where they are. And since they went there now, many times as police. But you go there now to go and then to check.
That's the lack.
They already
let's look at finally, because of time, let's look at the hopefulness of General Musa's appointment. How hopeful and realistic? Do you think he has the capacity with the security service chiefs and of course and with the government to be able to get something right this time?
He has the capacity because he's trained for it. And he knows what security is all about. He has fought insurgency. He knows where he was lacking. He knows where he was unable to perform. So he knows what he wants. The government should give him what he wants. and they will deliver. If he says, I want to buy so number of jets, so number of apps, give him the money to buy those things, so that he can succeed. A man cannot succeed with anything. I cannot tell him go to the farm, no cutlass, no file, nothing. If you want him to succeed, provide equipment, pay the workers well, so that they can stake their life. If I know that if I die, my wife will be suffering, my child will be suffering, why should I stake my life? They should pay them well. Our security agency, their salary is poor. How can somebody be a counselor and within 3 years they build a house?
3 months, you're calling 3 years.
And then you see a captain in that means he has not even gotten a plot of land. Superintendent the police has not even molded a bag of cement. And you want him to be loyal in working for the nation. And he's seeing his colleague that they was shot in the battlefield, dying there, they were contributing money by themselves to treat it, not government bringing money to fly him out. America will fly a constable or a private abroad for treatment.
Well, thank you very much if you're just joining us. We've come to the wrap-up of this very exciting and topical discussion we've had on faculty. Today's faculty has been very enthralling. I want to appreciate my participants, of course, my panelists rather, talking about Lawrence Okpewo and of course, Comrade Sonny Okpewo. Thanks for coming on the program. I'm sure we're going to be joining you again tomorrow, the faculty. I'm wishing Nigeria is itch-free, security-free celebration this period of Yuletide. Have a wonderful day. Good afternoon.
You don't have an approaching the man, will give him money. Pay the boys well. If you pay boys well, they will be loyal.
Yes, but